And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
Boom. We're live, baby. MMA Gossip, episode 24. You know the usual. Like, comment, subscribe. Social medias, at MMA X Gossip. All the usual here. One thing has changed. Instead of 3 Jersey boys, we got a 4th one in the booth. Coming off a big UD win in CFFC 82. Phil, the Hitman Caracappa, bro. What's going on? How you doing?
Good, guys. How you guys doing?
All good here, bro. I appreciate you doing this
right now. Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yo, look. I forget what fight it was, but yo, your name, hold up.
Oh shit, is that one of my? Oh, that's an old school walkout shirt right there.
So I don't remember what fight it was that you gave these out. I went to one of your fights with Mikey, and we went out after. Obviously, you fight in AC all the time.
Yeah,
I don't remember which fight it was though. You won. I think you won by finish that night too.
Let me see. Turn around real quick. I'll know if you turn around. And just stand up a little.
Got you. That help?
That's yeah. That was my 4th fight when I finished the kid.
Yeah, that's 100% what it was.
Yeah, that was 2000. That was like 3 years ago now. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah,
man. When was your first fight? When did you make your pro debut?
I made my pro debut February 2017.
Damn, that's awesome, bro.
So it'll be. I was just thinking about this the other day. It'll be 4 years in 6 months. So I'm trying to get like 1-2 more in there.
Well, happy early anniversary then, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
What's next? What do you? Because I saw that you signed. It was just one fight with CFFC, right? You said it was just.
That was just a 1-fight deal. So it's just like it's weird right now with like the pandemic and everything, and then after I lost on the Contender Series, I spoke to my manager. Yeah, lost. I mean. No one even knows I was actually hurt in that fight. I tore my MCL 10 days before the fight, my last sparring session, and I thought I got it as best as I can in those 10 days, and then right in the first 10 seconds of the fight, it just blew out completely. But after my first loss, my manager said I had to get another fight or 2 in there, and he'll get me right back in the UFC. So that was my first fight now, and I just talked to him the other day. We're going to try to either get a short notice UFC fight, or if CFFC does another show in September next month, I'm going to fight for the belt. So,
damn, bro,
something brewing,
That's dope.
I was actually just talking about that with Mikey, and I was talking about with these guys. Like with the current lay of the land in the UFC, dude, there's so much opportunity because there's so many cards. They're putting guys on left and right, giving them their shot. And after your win, obviously you already fought in the Contender Series. I was assuming you'd be really fucking close.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they're just throwing out cards every weekend, if not Fridays and Saturdays. And what were you saying? Oh, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to get back in there. They're trying to get me, like, another CFFC, but that's what it's every day. Yeah. So I just got to stay ready now. I usually take time off. I just took this week off because I had to get like stitches here from like a headbutt we had in like the 2nd round, and then I'm getting right back in there Monday. I'm gonna stay ready because that's how I feel like life works. If you keep staying at something and you work. I mean, my coach Dante shut that down. He's like, you'll ruin your face, and then you'll be cut. You'll be getting cut every fight for the rest of your career. But I mean, I would definitely do it if the money's right. I would definitely take a fight in there. And I'll tell you now. I mean, by the end of my fighting career, I'll definitely fight in bare knuckle for sure.
That's legit, bro. Yeah, Paige is getting that big money, so.
Which I can't believe that she's actually going over there. I didn't even know her. I never thought her hands were that good, but I guess we're gonna see.
And especially because she breaks her arm and all that shit all the time. I didn't know what the deal was with that.
Yeah, I just can't see her getting like punched in the face bare knuckle. That's crazy,
bro. Especially after that fight she had with Rose, how she looked after that shit. It's like
yeah. And then he's pretty good with kicks. You can't even throw kicks clearly, obviously. So it's just that's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, dude, I'm dying. So I obviously before this naturally I had to stalk your fucking Instagram, no shit about you. So I saw that you had met Paige, and then I just kept scrolling further because now I see your tattoos down here. I saw the fucking video of your mom, bro. I was dying. You told your mom, you're like, yeah, mom, I'm never going past my elbow. Now every fucking picture, every
That
video.
was my first tattoo. That was my first one on my arm too.
I know. Yeah, I told my mom hates them too, and I got them. So it's just like.
Now she don't say nothing.
Yeah, now they fall in love with the. I've been telling Matt none, and he's been now like it's time.
I mean, eventually. I mean, some parents like they'll take that to the grave, no tattoos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how my mom is. Like, yo, just chill out. It's not a big deal.
Nah, yeah, my parents were like that, but then I mean, eventually, just they got over it. Especially with the fighting. I mean, if they deal with that, I think a tattoo is like, all right, you know.
Yeah, bro. It's like a rite of passage with fighting. I feel like
it.
at this point.
Nah, yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm actually going in 2 weeks to get the rest of trying to get the whole side of my chest and the rest of my arm done.
Because you got your back too, right? You have your whole arm, the back, the whole nine.
Yeah. My boy Andrew Saray, he's just opening a shop in I think Point Pleasant. He did all my tattoos. I go to him for everything. He's awesome.
I'm looking to buy a house in Point Pleasant, so maybe I'll have to hit him up one day or
it's
something.
Good area. It's awesome over there.
Where are you at now? Because I saw some of your fights. They were saying like Freehold, and some people say like Long Island. I felt like or something.
It said Staten Island.
Yeah.
I was born in Staten Island. I'm not sure why I kept saying that. It said fighting out of Staten Island.
Yeah, it threw me off.
No, I'm from Freehold. I grew up in Freehold basically my whole life, and I live in Howell now. I have an apartment in Howell, so it's right over, right past Freehold.
Yeah, me and Mike went to Monmouth, so the area's like we're pretty familiar with.
Oh, okay, that's like Long Branch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
So with you getting another tattoo, you said you're going in like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So what if they offer you a fight and you got raw skin down, like the whole doesn't matter, you just say fuck it, it is what it is?
Wait, say that again? What, if I got a fight and I got the tattoo, you're saying?
All right, you got the whole tattoo, you get your whole chest, whatever, and then they're like, all right, next day you get a call from the UFC, like short notice fight, and you got a healing.
Oh, hell yeah. I could care less about that. If I broke my foot the day before, I'm still fighting. I mean, just because, that opportunity, anything can happen, you know what I mean? And I just, I don't know, I just can't wait. I would do anything to be in the UFC, obviously. It don't matter.
Yeah, and just today, like 2 or 3 UFC fights just dropped out in like the past 2 or 3 days, and they got people lined up to fill those spots, man. And, it could be you. If that's the right weight class, even if it's near your weight class, you can hop right in.
Right. That's another thing. Yeah, I mean, I even said I'll do 45 because I walk around. I don't walk around heavy as it is, but I'm like 52. I walk around, so 45 would be nothing for me. And then 35 is pretty tough cut, but I can easily get down to it if I had to,
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Especially if they flew you. I don't know what the deal is with Fight Island right now, but that'd be a cool experience in general just to fucking go over.
Oh, yeah. I know. I would love to do that too. But I mean, Vegas too, because Vegas would be cool because I fought in that spot that they're all fighting at now.
Oh, that's right. In the small cage. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's exactly where the Contender is. It's right next to the UFC PI. So I would be happy to fight there too,
Damn, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That was bull. I actually just watched a couple of your fights recently just to catch up when I was talking to Matt. And that Contender Series fight, I like. Is that why you put?
Well, you can just tell it wasn't. I don't know. I feel like someone that's watched all my fights or most of my fights, you can tell that's not how I fight.
Right. I understand.
I'm there. I wasn't mentally I was not blacked out, but I just wasn't. I never woke up until that last 45 seconds where I almost knocked him out, and then. Fight's over. Just crazy, But everything happens for a reason. It's cool now.
I was so pumped for that fight. I remember me and Mikey T were FaceTiming watching your fight at the same time.
Yeah, when I was in Vegas. I remember that. I talked to him 2 days after.
Yeah, it was awesome, bro.
But I mean, I want that fight back too. Eventually I want to fight him again 100%.
I don't think he's even fought since, so I don't know.
No, I seen someone told me the other day he's got some fight lined up, but I called him out 10 times after that fight. He's never responded to me.
How's the knee? How's your knee now?
Great. I mean, it's funny. When I was fighting in March, so that's 6 months after the August fight, the pandemic happened. My knee was still a little I was good to go, but I felt it was still in my head. It would tweak a little bit in training and stuff. But then after the pandemic happened, I took 2 months fully off and just got my mind right, let my body truly heal, which I haven't done my whole career. And going into this fight, it was a short camp because I took so much time off and I was just chilling, but I was still training. But yeah, 28 days. I just grinded every day. My knee didn't hurt whatsoever. I felt 100% going into the fight, so I felt awesome.
Bro, you looked awesome too in this fight. I mean, that first round, I watched the fight back twice already, so I already had like the whole shit in my head. He just started throwing naked leg kicks, and you were throwing your right hand right down the pipe every single time, cracking him. And then even in the grappling exchanges, dude, there was times you just shut him off. Like, you were clearly the stronger fighter in there. And then it got to the point of the second round. Did you go back and rewatch yourself? Like, you heard the judges saying, like, oh, maybe the Bartholomew.
Dude, I watched the fight probably 75 times.
Yeah. I don't even know why I asked, but they were like saying, go ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was saying my girlfriend was like getting annoyed at me, like she's like over hanging out, and I'm just sitting there just rewinding, replaying, because I'm my biggest critic, so I'd watch that fight and dissected it like no one else. But yeah, like, so I just wanted to be smart this fight. You know, it was my first fight coming back off my first ever loss. It's been a year, so much pressure, but like the more pressure, the better. I love that, and I just wanted to be smart. Like, there was definitely times I could have went for the finish. And I could have, like, let him off instead of trying to grapple him. But I just felt comfortable. Even he's a black belt. He's supposed to be, like, really, really good on the ground. 7 wins, 6 finishes, all submissions. But I just felt comfortable everywhere. I knew going into this fight I was going to be a better fighter everywhere. And then basically at the weigh-ins, when we eyed each other up and I shook his hand, I just felt like I was going to be the stronger. I knew I was going to be the stronger fighter. And then when we got in there, I was just confident the whole way through.
You know, and even you bring up the submissions. The biggest submission threat of the night was your armbar in the first round. Like,
yeah, I know.
That was crazy, dude. You're on your head, you're completely arched back. I was like, how? I mean,
my neck was even. Now that I watch, my neck was like bent all the way. I had that so tight. I really thought I was gonna finish it. It was crazy.
Well, but how out of that was his elbow a little too high or?
No, he was so. I don't make excuses. I hate that, but he was so oily. Like, if you watch my fight back and you watch right after the first round, going back to my corner, they show me sitting there, and I yell at the ref, and I'm like, bro, you have to dry him up or something.
I heard that. I heard you say that to him.
I, like, screamed right at him like this, as Dante or whatever they were doing, whatever, and he told me, he's like, they did. He's like, there's nothing on him. But, like, he just felt, like, oily, like, and it kept slipping out. But it was tight. Like, I'll give him that. Like, that was as tight as I had an armbar, and he defended it well, you know?
Yeah. That's even like in the first round you said too. So like that's even weird that he'd be that, you know, oil, like
that's what it was the first round. Like, yeah. And I sweat like crazy. Like that's I was happy like going into this fight. I was like, a minute in, I'll be soaking wet in sweat. But this kid, we're 15 seconds in. I threw 3 punches and, but it wasn't sweat. You know, it was just he was very like oily. It was weird.
And that was like the first grappling exchange too. So
yeah, exactly. First time we went to the ground, I threw that kick, went right over his head. And then he took me down. But I'm comfortable off my back. I'm a purple belt. I train with black belts between Dante's and then training at Ricardo Almeida's. I'm training with Frankie Edgar. Every black belt that you know. Like, so I'm always confident wherever the fight goes.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Frankie's got his fight coming up this weekend, bro. I say it all the time, Frankie Edgar is literally who got me like into mixed martial arts hardcore was Frankie Edgar back in the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like he's the Jersey guy that like made people realize, oh, shit, like, a normal guy can go out there and do this. You know what I mean?
At 155 too, bro.
Yeah, which when you look back, it's insane that he fought at 55 because the guys at 55 now walk around like 200 almost.
Dude, it's insane. But one thing I want to ask you, Ring of Combat, is there any way you go back there? Because do you still have the belt there? How does that work?
I mean, so it was weird. Yeah, so I'd never lost my belt.
Right.
I defended it 3 times, and no, I was going to fight for them again because my CFFC fight in November, it's weird. I have all these fights that have fell off in this last year. I was supposed to fight in November, and my knee was still completely, like, ruined. I actually had to keep going to the doctor and go for therapy. And I pulled out of the card, like, maybe, like, a month out before I even started posting about it. And what was the question? I'm terrible.
No worries. Ring of Combat.
Oh, yeah, Ring of Combat. So, I was supposed to fight for them in, like, maybe it was, like, February. That was the card. They had a February card, and I hit up Frankie, who was the promoter, and I was like, listen, like, I'll fight on the card. I want to get back in there. And he's like, well, we vacated your belt. He's like, but we can get you a title fight. We're like, we'll find someone. And then before I even, like, got a call back, the CFFC guy, Rob Haydak, he called me and was like, "You're still technically in contract with us, because if you didn't fulfill your fight, then you're like have another 3 months to fulfill it." So then I was gonna fight in March, and then now I just fought. But I would go back to Ring of Combat just because I would fight for the belt again and defend it again. But if I'm gonna fight locally again, I'd rather fight for CFFC at this point. I mean, just the way they do the promotion, it's so professional. Like down to watching the fight, down to warm-ups, weigh-ins, everything's just so, UFC like. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I feel like going maybe Ring of Combat's a little bit of a step back, even though I love that promotion. Like that's what gave me my whole career. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if I would go back. If there's like a cool fight, like someone like I don't know if you guys know like Renan Barão.
Oh hell yeah!
Like if he went and like if I was to fight him at 35 for like Ring of Combat or something like that, someone that's not in the UFC anymore, some big names, I would do something like that to keep adding to my resume. But I don't know. We'll see.
I didn't even know that's where he was right now.
What was that?
I didn't even know that's where Barão was right now.
No, he's not. I'm just saying he's not in the
okay.
UFC no more. Like if they were to like pull him out of somewhere and like hit him up and try to get that fight, I would love to do that.
I feel that.
And having that UFC name too would be huge. Especially
Right. I mean, I had the Lewis Gauntlet, like who was in the UFC, and I beat him. So that's what really got me on the contender noticed with Ali and signing me was beating that kid Lewis Gauntlet. So.
Did you sign with Ali prior to Contender Series, or was he?
Yeah, I signed with Ali after I knocked this kid John Sweeney out, who was supposed to apparently get signed. He was supposed to come beat me in Ring of Combat for my belt and get signed. Like they were looking at him and everything. And then after I knocked him out, Ali talked to Dante, and within like 6-7 days after my fight, I signed with Ali, and then Ali got me the Contender fight in July.
That's crazy. Yeah. So how is it working with Ali? Because like I know like he's got his roster of fighters is so insane. He gets so much slack in the media because he's like the manager, but he's always involved with fighters, running his mouth.
Right.
He seems like such a good dude to have on your side, but like the worst dude if you're on like the opposite side of the fence. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, totally. I mean, like I'll be straight up. Like I'll cut dry with it. Like at this level, like. Unless you see who he's manages, every UFC champ basically, at least half of them. You know what I mean? But like Gaethje, Cejudo, Usman, I don't know. I could just keep going, but whatever. I don't really talk to him much. I talk to him maybe like a couple times a month. He calls me or texts me, DM me. But just right now, I basically got to prove myself. You know what I mean? And going out there the other night and winning. That was the number one guy in Jersey, too. If you look on Tapology, which has all the rankings, they had him over me, 1 and 2.
It says you're number one now.
Yeah. They switched it now, finally. It should have been that way to begin with. But, no, yeah. So, basically, I don't have, it's not like a close relationship yet. I'm sure once I get in the UFC and I start, proving my worth and knocking people out and finishing fights and getting fight of the nights, because that's another thing I can't wait for, and why I'm holding out. I can go to Bellator if I want and start, a career there and fight there, but I know I'm made for the UFC, and fight of the nights is my thing. I'm gonna go out there, try to get that $50K every time.
I hear you, bro.
I mean, I don't know if you can disclose this kind of info, but has Bellator ever spoken to you at all, or you just have a preference like UFC over Bellator?
No. I mean, I have two teammates that fought in Bellator already, and my brother actually got offered a fight in Bellator, but it fell through recently, and it was going to be a short notice fight. No, not like that. My Dante's so close to Bellator because he was in Bellator for 5-6 fights. So I mean, he knows Scott Coker personally. He could just call him up and get me a fight, and I can make my way up easily. But yeah, that's a personal choice. I'm definitely holding out. I won't fight anywhere until I get to UFC, unless it's some, like I said, big name fight.
Good for you, bro. And before I'm gonna let you go because I know you got shit to do, and I appreciate you doing this. Just I gotta ask a couple of things, some rapid fire things. So, who are your favorite sports teams? If you're first of all, I should ask, are you a North or South Jersey guy? What do you consider? You're kind of central,
Central. I mean, I would totally say central.
Because people go, it's North or South. There's no in between. Because I'm originally from New York. My parents are from New York.
People hate when I say Central Jersey.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "There's no such thing." I'm like right in the middle. Like,
That's why I had to ask. But who are your favorite sports teams then?
I'm sure none of you guys are probably a Met fan.
No.
All Yankee fans, right?
Yeah.
Like my boy Mike. I'm a diehard Met fan, even though I can't even watch them. I'm a Knicks fan. Knicks, all right, word.
Yeah. Even though we're in a Nets hat, I'm a Knicks fan.
Okay, Nets. I like the Nets though. I'm not like crazy like diehard. Like I like other teams with basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Football, I'm a diehard Jets fan.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All Jets all day.
All Jets all day.
That's really all the sports I watch. What else is there?
And hockey, I guess.
Hockey. I mean, just because like, shout out Mike Terranova. Like growing up, like Rangers were his team like all the time. So I mean, gotta think for the Rangers a little bit if I say hockey.
I feel that.
And then, but yo, you didn't ask me favorite fighters.
Who's your favorite fighter?
I mean, not now. I don't have any favorite fighters in the UFC right now because, I mean, it's all competition at the end of the day. But people that I look up to are my favorite two fighters are George St. Pierre and Rampage Jackson, Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Ooh,
I've always tried to
that.
like mold myself into like use all their stuff into like my stuff with slams, great wrestling, smart fighting, but brawling out, all that stuff.
That's awesome, dude. Rampage Jackson, I did not see that coming.
Oh, dude, diehard Rampage Jackson. I mean, now I don't like to watch him in Bellator because he's just like,
it's just overkill.
Yeah, exactly, overkill. But no, Rampage big time, and GSP is my favorite fighter of all time.
How do you see Saturday's main event going down, Frankie and Munoz?
I think just Munoz is too slow for him. Like I just watched the Cody fight because I trained with Cody now. He came down and trained with Mark Henry for his last camp. It's mad cool. And his fight was like playing the other day on Instagram or something. And I watched the whole thing and just how fast like Cody is. Frankie's, up there with that speed. And before Cody got caught and kind of lost his cool a little bit, he was winning that fight. And I feel like he would have won that fight. And I just feel like Frankie's going to go out there and like outpoint him. And I think he'll take him down at ease, control him on the ground, and then on the feet, I just feel like Munoz is too slow and just takes his time like and throwing big shots. So I think Frankie by like unanimous decision.
I'd be the happiest person in the world, bro. Maybe second happiest behind you, but I'd be real fucking happy.
And he's going at 35. Like, I mean, he's fought at 45 and 55. He's strong. He's a strong dude. So
how was he training with Cody? I mean, I'm such a Cody fanboy. I gotta ask.
Cody's like he's awesome to train with, man. He's so competitive even when he's training. So it's just like whether we're like doing rolling live or sparring, it's straight up just like you're in a real fight. Like it's awesome. Like the momentum and like the energy is just awesome that he brings into the room. It's awesome.
That's dope.
But at the end of the day, he's mad cool too. Like he's mad chill,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were all on the Cody hype train for his last fight because of that switch with Mark Henry. We thought that he would.
Yeah, because it seemed like he never had like some crazy good coach above him. You know what I mean? And I feel like once he got Mark, he was just like so tuned in, like had like I don't know. Obviously you've seen it. That knockout was insane.
Insane, bro.
And I don't like O'Malley either. I can't wait to fight him eventually.
Oh, dude, we were on the Cheeto train. I think Matt was like the leader of the Cheeto train. I mean, not the train. He's been.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I personally bet on O'Malley in that fight. I thought O'Malley. I did a parlay between O'Malley and Cormier, which I both lost. And no, I thought O'Malley was gonna win that, but. Everyone's saying his ankle went out, but that was definitely the kick. Like that was it definitely knocked out the nerve like in his leg or something like that.
Yeah,
so I mean, and then he went out too on the ground with those elbows.
Yeah, man, we were going off on that in our last podcast. Just that was like people are, O'Malley has that hype train behind him.
Right away. Yeah, right away. But like the fact he had to get carted off and everything, I feel like that's so excessive. Like,
oh yeah.
And especially guys have dealt with so much work. Dude, you just said you fought a fight with a torn MCL. Like
yeah, like I always and I don't even bring it up. I'm just starting to say it now because I just had my fight and like I finally got to say it. But yeah, dude, I just can't. It just blows my mind. You can the carted off was just ridiculous. Ben Askren even like said something about it. I seen on YouTube.
Yeah, he said he would have hopped out of the cage on one leg if he had to.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just like a weird move, but
Yeah.
And of course, O'Malley just like this is like an hour ago was coming out of left field, like ripping apart the fight. He was like, it sucks for me because I lost to someone who I look at is not very good. I look at him, I'm like, I lost. He's not that good, and I fucking lost him. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, this was your first real test. If I may take it on the fucking chin and get better,
right,
you know?
right. No, I mean, yeah, I just I don't know. I feel like after the fight, they showed it. He tweeted like humbled, and I was like, all right, like he knew like that was an injury, got in the fight, and then now I guess he's talking shit again. But I guess they do have to rematch, you know. So there's no one saying anything afterwards.
You know, Chico would be game.
Yeah, he's always game.
Who?
Yeah,
Oh,
Chico,
rematch.
yeah, he would be. Marlon would be so game. He's such a dog.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially that he's not even thinking that it was like a fluke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it'll be if they do fight again, like the Weidman Silva thing. Like he beats him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his kryptonite.
But, yo, bro, I know you got to run, so we'll let you go. I know I speak for all three of us. Thank you very fucking much for this, dude. Good luck.
No, yeah, of course, man. After my next fight or whatever, or before it, if you guys want to get me back on, man, I'd be more than happy.
Just going to say that. We'd absolutely fucking love to do that, bro. So if you got anything to shout out, anyone, any social media, whatever, floor is yours. But, again, thank you, bro. Appreciate it big time.
No, thank you, guys. No really shout-outs. Shout out my dad. Today's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
And
to you, Dad.
shout out my supplement company, Apex Sport, man. They definitely helped me out a lot during this fight with, supplements. They're not pre-workouts, even though they have the best pre-workout on the market, but they got EAAs, which I take every day before my fights for training sessions. So they helped me out a lot, and that's really it, guys. And thank you guys for having me. You guys are mad chill. Mad
Awesome,
cool.
bro.
Real quick, though, when you get a chance, text me your address. We're sending you a shirt with our logo and shit on it for coming on.
Yeah. All right, awesome, bro. I'll send you one right after this, all right?
Yeah, big thanks, man. Appreciate it. Happy birthday to your dad.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one, bro.
You as well.
All right, yo.
Boom. That was awesome. Phil Caracappa, up-and-comer, ready for the Contender Series. Fan of the show, fan of Matt's. Just all-around good dude, boys. So
that was awesome, man. Yo, Dana White, get him in the UFC. Let's go.
yeah, boys. But with that being said, you know the usual. Like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Like, comment, and subscribe on all Phil Caracappa's shit. He's the fucking cool-ass dude. You'll see him. You know, this interview is going to go far, I'm telling you, because I believe in that kid. I've watched his fights. And I like, guys, I'm not doing this to suck the kid's dick. Like, Matt introduced you to him. I watched his fights. I thought he won the Contender Series, and now, you know, with the torn MCL, he won that fight. 9-1, Ring of Combat champ, CFFC co-main event, his last fight. He's the same age as us, and we're all losers, and this kid's doing big things. So, with that being said, let's move on. What is this? UFC on ESPN, I think 15 they're calling this. It's in the Apex. It's Frankie Edgar versus Pedro Munoz. It's going down on Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. In the smaller cage, Frankie Edgar makes his bantamweight debut. Mike, the floor is yours, bro.
I just spilled so much beer. I'm sorry.
As Matt cleans up his beer, let's go right into this. But right before, a little disclaimer: this card has been chopped up and replaced and chopped up again. So there's like at least 3 or 4 fights where the replacement was replaced either today or yesterday. So with that being said, I'm glad we're doing this now on Thursday, because if we had done this like our normal show, like in weeks prior on a Tuesday, half the fights would have fell off and all of our picks would have been bullshit. So with that being said, a lot of late replacements, a lot of low-level fights, and let's get right to it. We got Timur. Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. One other thing. Before Saturday night, Chrissy Bellator's got to mention Bellator 244.
Your man.
Munoz versus Nemkov, you know what I mean? Main event, Uncasville, Connecticut, Mohegan Sun, the whole 9. I'll get to that after, but I just wanted to throw that in there. We'll be talking about that too, baby. Chris, I will never, ever not mention Bellator, bro. I swear to God, aside from Frankie Edgar, because you guys know how I feel about Frankie Edgar, I'm way more pumped for the Bader fight and card, essentially, than I am the UFC card. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, these UFC cards, they're just trying to pump out a little bit. I don't want to say too much, but the talent level isn't there because they're trying to pump it out so much during quarantine. But, hey, I'm not going to complain. There's fights on Friday and Saturday, baby. Let's go.
Let's get it.
So, Chrissy Bellator will break it down for you right after we break down UFC Vegas 7. Let's go. Timur Valiev. Line isn't out yet because Trevin Jones just replaced, I think his name is Mark Striegel, dropped out today, and they replaced Trevin Jones today. So we have no lines, and I know nothing about Trevin Jones. So, Matt, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go ahead, take it.
Wait. I thought it was Tamer's first fight, or no?
It is.
Timur Valiev versus Trevin Jones.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, well, guys, look, put it this way. Against this Mark Striegel, Tamer was 6-1 favorite. We've talked about him previously on this podcast. He's got a good resume. He's got really, really good striking, great footwork. Doesn't really pack a big punch, but he makes his combinations work. He flows really nice. Dude, he's going to win. Again, a disclaimer, this card is not – this isn't a card you're entering your 401k into. Like, he's going to win this fight. He's 6-1 against this guy that we really don't know much about. And now he just got a late replacement. His line's probably going to double. Nothing much to see here. Tamer's going to win this fight.
All I know is the UFC's fucking up. Philly Caracappa could have slid right in there and been in this spot. But I'm half joking because I'm being serious. But Valiev, yeah, PFL vet. I don't know. I think he fought at least 2 or 3 times there. Like we said, I honestly can't even speak on behalf of his opponent. So I guess I'm going to pick Valiev because he's the only person I know. 6-1 favorite taking on a fighter who's on Thursday. They're weighing in tomorrow and they're going to fight. So I can't bet on that. But Valiev, I guess.
Yeah, Valiev. Got nothing to say here, man. He's supposed to fight Jamal Emmers a couple weeks back. He fell out that night. Now his opponent tonight fell out. So, just pick Valiev. Don't lay the chalk, though. It's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, Valiev trains at Nicotone, I believe, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, like, I know if you haven't heard of the podcast, Mike trained there as well. So
Baby, that's my spot in college.
He's a brown belt there.
Word.
Thought I should mention that.
Up next, we got Matthew Semmelsberger going up against Carlton Minus. Minus is a minus 115 to about Semmelsberger's plus 100 or so. This is another low-level guy. Guy's coming from Alaska. So, Matt, take it.
Oh, man, this is so – I mean, at least this line is even. So, at worst, we get a good fight. Semmelsberger, what a hell of a name that is. He's going to be the bigger guy in there. From what I've seen, he likes to wrestle. He's a more grapple-based fighter. And then on the other side, Minus, to me, I mean, he's definitely more experienced, and he seems like more athletic, probably a better striker. He pumps his jab out there a lot. But again, guys, these fights are so hard to call, but it's not a bad thing. Like, this is what you want to see, guys getting their chance in the UFC. I love what they're doing, just loading these cards up, giving kids their fucking shot. That being said, I'm going to go with Carlton Minus on this one. Chris?
I'm going to go Carlton Minus as well. Minus is minus 120. I think minus 125 in some places. He's 10-1. Like Mike said, fought in Alaska FC. I know Alaska FC has been a couple places where Dana has gone for looking for a fight and smaller shows like that. I know believe it or not, I've watched it on Fight Pass before. So, I've seen a couple of their upper-level fights. Not that I'm saying Minus is one of them, but he does have a nice win over Justin Buchholz, who, fought in the UFC, trains a Team Alpha Male, was one of the head coaches there, coach Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, among others. And he's just a super durable guy. Talking about Buchholz, he's got like 30 professional fights, and for Minus to beat him, I think in his last fight of the fight previously, I put some pretty good stock into that. Whereas Semmelsberger is he's only 6-2. He was supposed to fight Phil Rowe, who would have been like basically the only quote unquote name on his resume. Other than that, a lot of smaller promotions, can't put much stock into it. So I'm going to go Minus here. Not going to lay money on it again, but I would choose Minus as well.
I'm on Minus as well. He just seems like the better all-around athlete, crisper striker. He definitely got a lot of volume, and the judges love volume nowadays. So he'll be pumping out his jab and kicks galore. He's decent on the mat, and Semmelsberger's got like no competition, and he's been beating everybody that he's supposed to beat, which is what you want to see. A couple of highlight reel finishes if you look him up, but I'm gonna go with Minus here. But now, interesting to know, Minus opened up, I'm pretty sure like minus 300, minus 350, something like that. So that's pretty crazy to think about. So now he's like almost a pick'em. So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
you did cut out for a split second, but I think it went back.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm picking up Minus in that one. Up next, Another super late replacement fight. Ike Villanueva was supposed to fight Jorge Gonzalez. Gonzalez dropped out like maybe yesterday, and the replacement as of today is Jordan Wright. He's 10-0. However, he did get knocked out on Dana White's Contender Series by Fluffy Hernandez, but it was a no contest because Fluffy got popped for steroids. So he's technically 10-1, 10-0, whatever you want to call it. Matt.
You're muted.
I'm fucking.
I see Matt's mouth go, oh my God, I'm fucking muted. Literally read his lips perfectly. Oh my God, I'm fucking muted.
So, Jordan, the Beverly Hills Ninja, right? Oh my God, that's what this guy looks like. I didn't mean to say that out loud. This guy looks like an overgrown baby. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. I think I'm actually gonna go with him just because fucking Villanueva got knocked out by Chase Sherman like brutally, and I just can't back anybody that gets knocked out by Chase Sherman. You know, as dope as his Twitter is and as funny as he is, he's really like pretty low level, man. Jordan Wright, 10-0, as Mike said, all by finish, and he's pretty versatile with his finishes. 5 by knockout, 5 by submission, so clearly win the fight in a couple different ways. We're just going to kind of bank on that. Yeah, again, low-level fight. We'll see what happens. Chris, go ahead.
Who you riding with in that one?
Right.
Right? Okay. Yeah, no, I am actually too. Plus money. Anytime I'll take plus money over Ike Villanueva all fucking day long. The fact that Villanueva is, scheduled to fight today and Wright is taking this on 2-3 days notice and he's at basically even money is actually insane. Like Matt said, all finishes, 5 by knockout, 5 by stoppage, although he has been technically stopped once. Villanueva, every time he fights someone that is his talent level or better, he folds. I guess the only time that he passed the test would be Rashad Coulter, who's not good. He's lost to the likes of Chase Sherman, Robert Drysdale. Anytime he fights anyone, like I said, up to par with him, he loses. So I'm going with him to lose this fight as well. And I'm going to ride with Jordan Wright, who trains out of Jackson Wink. So I know Jackson Wink has like the best name ever, but lately they haven't been doing too hot. And I think they're kind of getting back on the horse now over there at Jackson Wink. So I could see him taking this dub.
Ike sucks. Ike is bad. So like I'm gonna go with Chase. Chase. I'm gonna say Chase. I'm going with Wright here. I mean, I know he looked bad on that Contender Series, but I mean, like he seems to be in better shape. I mean, like Ike used to compete at 185. Man, he fought Trevin Giles, and I don't know if that was 185, but I know he competed at 185.
Robert Drysdale was definitely at 185.
Right. So. And then he looked fat as hell at heavyweight against Chase Sherman. Now he's going to 205 fight. I don't know. Jordan Wright, he's more athletic. He can probably keep the distance a little bit better. He's got that karate style. That's why he's got the whole Beverly Hills Ninja nickname going for him. I'm just I'm banking on Ike just like not being able to take a shot and just getting caught in the first round, getting knocked out. So simple as that. Up next, another replacement, Kalen Bourne. Just got replaced again as of today or yesterday, going up against Dwight Grant, who was originally supposed to fight Jared Gooden, who was like a prospect that everyone was kind of excited to see. But he dropped out, so it's Dwight Grant going up against Kalen Bourne. Matt?
I'm definitely riding with Dwight Grant here in this fight. I've been impressed with him aside from his fucking loss to Zach Otto. But I've been pretty impressed with him since that fight. Split decision over Alan Jovan, who he's not great, but there's times where he's a decent test. Like there's tough fights he comes out, he gets smoked. There's fights he comes out and he fights his game, and he's a pretty hard to test, especially for a guy that's fairly new to the UFC. Knocked who else did he knock out? Carlo Pedro. Yeah, blew his doors off. But all around though, Dwight Grant's pretty good, man. I'm excited to see what could come of him. He trains at an AKA. They just produce fucking monsters, man. So I think he should win this fight fairly easily. Again, like Kalen Bourne, I don't really know anything about him. As Mike just said, like, guys, we do research for this shit. We can't do anything. If a guy gets replaced 10 minutes before our podcast, we're going to still pump out content. So I'm taking the 3-1 favorite. Chris, go ahead.
I'm not jerking off or tugging something over here. My dog got his hair cut today, and he's laying on his belly, so I'm giving him some belly rubs. But with that being said, yeah, Kalen Bourne, I'll speak on him because I feel like you did enough on Dwight Grant. He is 7-1. I think he in some places he's like a plus 300 favorite, which is kind of crazy. I mean, yes, Dwight Grant's the better fighter here. Scheduled to fight. Also, I wanted to mention, I love when fighters fight out of New York and New Jersey, and Dwight Grant's from Brooklyn, so that's kind of, not near my hometown, but New York guy, so respect. Kalen Bourne fights for LFA and for Shamrock. He's 7-1, and those are, nothing wrong with that, but they're just small promotions fighting kind of much lower level competition, winning the fights you should be winning. This is kind of a big step up for him. Short notice. Hopefully he takes advantage of the opportunity. Will not lay a penny on this fight, and I'm going to say Dwight Grant's going to win.
I'm going to hammer Dwight Grant.
Yeah. I don't like saying this, but I really don't see a scenario in which Dwight Grant loses. I mean, Kalen Bourne is literally fought absolutely no one, but then you have to think that guy's coming into this fight with nothing to lose, kind of like Daniel Pineda. Like, he's literally coming here with nothing to lose. So, and Dwight Grant's, he's older. He's 35 years old, hasn't fought in over a year. So, things get a little hairy. You could say he lost the Alan Jouban fight. He could be arguably 1-2 in the UFC right now. So, things are a little hairy right now, but you have to pick Dwight Grant. And if you don't pick Dwight Grant, that's just a stupid move in my opinion. I don't see a scenario in which he loses this fight. So up next, here we go. This is actually a fight that we can actually talk about and enjoy. We got Austin Hubbard plus 110 going up against Joe Solecki minus 140. Matt.
Oh, yeah, man. I was pumped for Solecki to fight. It was probably 2 weeks ago. Something happened on that card. I know Mike's a big Hubbard fan, but I'm a little biased here. One of my good buddies, Gabe Vitola, shout out to Gabe, to see him this weekend, actually trained with Joe Solecki. So I'm all over Solecki in this fight, but he is what he is, man. He's definitely a wrestler first. He's got legit jiu-jitsu. He's going to wrestle his fucking ass off, and that's where he wants to fight. As opposed to Hubbard, he definitely has the better striking. But the thing is, we've seen Hubbard against guys that are, dominant wrestlers like Mark who was it? No, not Mark. I was going to say Mark.
No, Mark Madsen.
It was Mark Madsen, yes. But, then we saw in that third round, Madsen gassed, and Hubbard was all over him. So, he's got a good gas tank. He grapples for 2 rounds, still alive in the third, looking to throw hands and get a finish when he knows he's down on the scorecards. I always do this, though. I am biased. I always tend to go with the guy that's the better grappler because it just seems like the safer bet. Because if he could get the fight there, chances are he's going to win. So, I'm all over Solecki here. I am a fan of Hubbard, though, and I do think that it's kind of disrespect in a way that he's an underdog here. I mean, he just literally made a guy quit in the octagon. He literally, in the middle of the fight, a kid said, I can't do this anymore, and had to stop the fight. And he's somehow an underdog in this fight. And he was a huge underdog to that kid. So, to me, the odds, again, this week are just a little weird, but definitely going with Solecki here. Chris?
So this is what? Joe Solecki's second UFC fight if you count Contender Series? Or, right? That's a third, including Contender Series. Okay. So this is Austin Hubbard's 5th fight in the UFC. And Hubbard, so the reason I'm going to ride Hubbard here, I'm just going to come right out and say it, plus money, like Matt said, I think the odds are a little wacky on this one here. He's fought Davi Ramos, so he's, Davi Ramos is jiu-jitsu through and through, and was able to hold his ground there. Yes, he lost, but he lost by decision. So all 3 rounds, grinded it out, back and forth. Kyle Prepelic is a striker and stood and banged with him, won that fight by decision. Then back-to-back, Mark Madsen and Max Roshkov, 2 dominant wrestlers who were both supposed to beat him. Yes, Madsen beat him. Madsen tired, and I thought Hubbard could have almost, Hubbard could have taken that fight. And Roshkov, he literally made quit. So I feel like this is almost not a match made for Hubbard to win. But being that he has experience with such high-level wrestlers and has, I would say, better striking in this matchup, I'm going to ride with him there. I think there's a lot of value in him being an underdog and having great grappling defense and offense and good and legitimate striking as well. 5th UFC fight. I'm going Hubbard on this one.
I think there's no question that Joe Solecki is going to get this fight to the ground at some point. It's just a matter of, can he keep Hubbard down, who's at this point very good at getting up. Yep. Hubbard fights at team elevation with those monsters. So he's coming with the best cardio. I don't care what – I know we haven't seen Joe Solecki cardio-wise in terms of 3 rounds, but we've seen Hubbard dig deep multiple times and come out in that 3rd round and win that 3rd round decisively and wearing his heart on his sleeve, knowing that he's down 2 rounds going for that finish. So obviously Mikey 3rd rounds over here. I put a lot of stock into that finish, that finishing round. So With that being said, I'm just worried. I'm picking Hubbard. I've been going back and forth all week. Today, I finally solidified my pick. I'm going to ride with Hubbard because I do think that his ability to work and get up and make Joe Solecki work is eventually going to tire him out. And then hopefully it's the second round. Hubbard can win that second round because if it's Solecki rounds 2 and 1, again, it's going to be Hubbard trying to go for that finish in the third round. But I think at this point, he's weathered enough. He's seasoned enough. He's seen enough wrestlers. He's been in situations where he's losing. He's not going to let that happen again. And he's going to win this fight either in the third round or by this unanimous decision. And Austin Hubbard in the third round is like plus 2,000. So I might sprinkle that a little bit. Little sprinkle here. I don't know. I put a lot of stock in Hubbard as a dog in this fight. Doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But
I hear you.
I'm riding with him. All right. This one's actually pretty decent too. Mizuki Inoue going up against Amanda Lemos. Lemos is about plus 110 to Mizuki's minus 140. Matt.
Real quick, another shout out to Phil Caracappa. Just tossed the boys a follow on our Instagram. Hell yeah. But I'm on Mizuki here. Don't make me say her last name.
It's actually easy.
Inoue.
Yeah.
Okay. You never know never mind. I'm going riding with her here. Last time I saw Amanda out, she seemed to gas a little bit as opposed to Inoue has pretty solid gas tank. The line's very even for a reason, but Inoue to me just seems a little bit more scrappy. Maybe a play on the under here. Again, guys, I know it sounds so repetitive, but these fights are so hard to call. They're debuting at even odds, basically. Flip a fucking coin. Because you're still, even though certain fighters are better than certain fighters elsewhere, you don't know if jitters are playing a factor. Like, you just don't know. We don't have much tape on these fighters, but I'm definitely going to go Inoue here for the reasons I just mentioned. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I like Inoue as well. I think that she's good all around. She's a kickboxer first, but it was weird because I know she's fought Kovalevich and I'm just going to answer. I think it was Alexa Grasso. I got to check Alexa Grasso. And, that's a boxer and a kickboxer right there. And she lost those fights. But then I think she lost to Jandiroba by a split decision, I believe, as well. So, she was able to keep the fight standing for at least some of it because, Jandiroba wanted to be all over her on the ground. So I think she's just better well-rounded. She's got more experience here. I know Lemos lost to fucking Leslie Smith, which is bonkers. So, I can't put too much stock in that. Again, MMA math here. But I think Inoue has fought as high as lightweight, I want to say. And maybe in Invicta, I know she was fighting at 145. So she's got experience fighting at the heavier weight. So I think I'm going to go Inoue on this one.
I'm actually really heavy on Inoue here. I really think she's going to beat the shit out of Amanda Lemos. And and for the reasons I'm about to say is because Amanda Lemos is only like maybe 8 fights total in her entire
7-1.
Yeah. So, and she's like 33. And then you got Inoue over here is like 26 and has a wealth of experience. The cardio factor is huge. Inoue is going to be pushing up in her face for the entire fight, and that's exactly what Leslie Smith did to Lemos, and Lemos gassed in the second round and 8 elbows to the face until she crashed. Now, I know Lemos looked really good in that first round. She was popping Leslie Smith like with awesome striking, but then Leslie Smith has 0 head movement. Absolutely none. And then she gassed herself out by striking. She comes back in the next fight against, Miranda Geringer or something like that. Mm-hmm. She was 7-0. She was a huge favorite over Lemos coming over from, I think, Invicta. But she sucks. She's awful. Okay, so I don't put any stock into that fight either. So a lot of money's coming on Lemos, and I'm kind of pumped about it because it's keeping the line close. But I think Mizuki is going to mollywop her for 3 rounds. And Matt, I agree with you. That under is a little bit tempting because if she can keep that pace and put it on kind of like how Leslie Smith did against Lemos, I could see a TKO in the second or third round. I could totally see that. And I like that a lot. I'm definitely going to sprinkle that, but I'm definitely putting Mizuki into like almost all my plays, DraftKings lineup, shit like that. So I'm on her. All right, decent fight here. We got Takashi Sato, slight underdog, I think like plus 140 or something like that, going up against Daniel Rodriguez, minus 190. Matt.
A quick throwback to when me and Mike argued on one of our first podcasts that we should not bet on Tim Means against Daniel Rodriguez. And then I listened to Mike, and then Tim Means died. I'm on I'm on D-Rod here. What's up, Chris?
You thought Rodriguez was going to win?
Yeah, me and Mike argued it on the podcast.
I know. He's right. He's right. I fucked up.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And then I bet Tim Means, and I was like, fucking Mike.
It's always Mike's fault. I look, Matt bets when he wins, he's stoked. I fucking told you guys. And when he loses, he's like, fucking Mike told me to do it.
I'm gonna take him here. I mean, fuck. I just don't think Sato's that good, man. I mean, again, run through his resume. Just knocked out Jason Witt, which he was supposed to do. Lost to Bilal Muhammad. Here we go again, knocking Ben Saunders, rite of passage.
Dude, Ben Saunders is going to hunt us down and fuck us up. He has to.
And before that, he wasn't even in the UFC. But what I saw at D-Rod against a guy like Tim Means was really fucking impressive, man. He rocked him. And then instead of going into ground and pound, he sunk in a submission, which to me against a guy like Tim Means, I found really impressive. The guy, he's got some quick hands. He hits hard as shit. And then he wanted to win a UD over Gabriel Green, and we were all on him in that fight as well. I'm going to be on him again here. It's definitely going to be a fun fight, guys. I think an under is worth a play here as long as the under is 2.5. 1.5 could get a little but I expect these boys to come out throwing hot and hard early. Chris?
Before I get into this, there's one thing I wanted to say. I got to shout out Mike because we were just making fun of Mike's bets. Mike went off on the Contender Series, and the Contender Series is going to come into play here in a second. But got to give Mike his props. If you want to shout that out real quick, Mike, what your plays are, if you have, I don't know if you have them in front of you, but
yeah, I do have them actually. Hold on 1 second. It's Kenny Cross, underdog, first play, plus 130. I got him at, and then I had Luis Cassi in the main event, plus 110. And then I parlayed Josh and Cheyenne to make it to a plus 103. Those were two big favorites. And then I went for the Cross-Seiler fight, the first fight in the card. It does go the distance, plus 209, because I figured that if Cross wins, he's going to wrestle fuck him the whole time. And that's exactly what happened. So I played that right, baby, to a T.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to give you those props. And just the only reason I even remember that was, one, what Matt just said, and two, because I was going to go into Daniel Rodriguez's resume, and Sato's resume, which Matt had already done. So I'm not going to double dip into that. But I know that Daniel Rodriguez, one of his losses was to Victor Reina, who just got beat up by Luis Kosei in the main event on the Contender Series. I believe it was his second fight on the Contender Series. And also one thing I wanted to mention on that, Dana White said that he had never been stopped and he beat Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland choked him out. So I don't know. Thought that was weird. But with that being said, I'm going to go Rodriguez here as well. Sato came into the UFC as somewhat of a hot prospect, and they thought he was going to really make a splash. And he kind of faded out. I know after his loss to Bilal Muhammad, they kind of lost a little bit of faith in him. And I feel like this is a match really made for Daniel Rodriguez to win. Big hands, and Sato is finishable. A little slow, so he's going to come out and try to swing, and I think that Rodriguez is going to catch him and put him away. Like Matt said, I think the under would be a great bet, especially at 2.5 rounds. That's something I would put money on. So Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much of it, but Daniel Rodriguez is a solid grappler. He's got a solid grappling base, and we saw Sato really got pummeled by Bilal Muhammad before he got choked out. And Bilal Muhammad is a very, very, very good grappler, so I'm not trying to compare Daniel to him, but Daniel has that edge, and I think he's better on the feet too. I mean, he landed like 175 significant strikes in his last fight. I mean, that's got to be like one of the records, at least top 5. And people were saying, I saw some people saying like, oh, he got tired in that fight. Yeah, well, you're fucking beating the shit out of the guy, trying to put him away, man. The guy had no offense for him. So like in my book, that's a great win. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. And then with the times where he was looking tired, he was still firing back. He still looked great the whole fight. So I don't believe that at all. I think Daniel Rodriguez wins this fight. Sato is definitely capable of a knockout at some point. He's got power in his hands, but the crisper striking definitely goes to Rodriguez, and the grappling goes to Rodriguez too. So I'll go with the guy that has more ways to win. All right, we can totally skim over this one real quick.
Okay, we're all taking Agapova, right?
Agapova. You guys want to go through this?
No, all we're going to say is Agapova is humongous. She's lightning fast. She looks like Joanna. In there right now. She lost in the Contender Series on a complete fluke, and now they're promoting the absolute shit out of her. She looked so flat from the Contender Series. She looked terrible. I think she lost. It was either UD or a split decision, and she lost. And Dana White was probably wanting to shoot himself because they really wanted her in the UFC. She came right into the UFC, made a big splash. She's going to beat the living shit out of Shayna Dobson in this fight, and that's it. Other than that, one thing I wanted to say about her was, did you see the whole dishwasher thing that she was talking about? She's training in the United States now because her fight's in the Apex Center, and she had no idea what the fuck a dishwasher, a washing machine, or a dryer was. She was washing her training clothes by fucking hand. Could not believe that a dishwasher not only washed dishes but dried them. That was just like totally foreign to her. So I thought that was something cool to mention. She's going to beat the shit out of Shayna Dobson and get another fucking tomato can gatekeeper next. Mike, you were about to say something.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was listening to MMA Numbers. Shout out to your shirt, Chris. MMA by the numbers. He's the man. He's got all the statistics.
He is the man, dude.
I always shout him out, and he has no idea I exist. But yeah, he's the man. But what I was saying was, he was saying like, obviously a plus whatever 600-700 it is. It's tempting to hit that line, but history has proven. Yeah, history has proven that if you were to take the full line on all the UFC fighters that were like minus 1,000 or above, you would still be making a profit versus the times where those massive favorites lost. So take that with you will. Basically what he's saying, that there's no value on Shayna Dobson. There's zero value on her. So Matt, I love you, man.
That's why I'm laughing, dude. Matt has either hammered a humongous favorite that lost or sprinkled every fucking one of DJ, John Jones, Joanna's opponents for the fucking life.
So take that information what you will. Matt, I know you'll be sweating on this fight. All right, up to the co-main. This fight is pretty shitty too, but Mike Rodriguez, pretty sizable favorite, minus 245, going up against, hasn't fought in like 2 years, Marcin Prachnio. Matt?
Yeah, Mike Slow Rodriguez. Whoever picked that nickname. But I don't understand. I mean, I think the UFC wants Rodriguez to win more than like, I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say it. Like, I think the UFC's hype behind Rodriguez is driving the line more than his actual talent. Like, he's coming off a brutal knockout in a fight he was a massive favorite. Before that, he did a no contest. Before that, he knocked out Adam Milstead. Before that, he lost to Devin Clark. Like, to me, he hasn't done anything in his UFC career, at least, to be like, hey, like, maybe this guy can make something of himself. Like, obviously, before that, he was cleaning house in other, other promotions, CES, mainly, a little bit of time at Cage Titans, and, gets most of his wins by knockout, 8 out of 10. And then you look on the other side, though, the reason I bring up his odds, you got a guy that's knocked out 10 people out of his 13 wins. I just can't I can't justify almost 2.5 to 1 odds for a guy that just got fucking obliterated. But this guy also just got knocked out, it was 2 fucking years ago, got knocked out by Sam Alvey, which at the time, Sam Alvey seemed to be knocking out anybody that was very below average. That was like his MO, knock out a bunch of guys no one's ever heard of and then fight somebody else and get killed. And he got knocked out by Magomed Ankalaev, who's actually pretty fucking good. But I think actually I think I'm going to go with Marcin here solely because the odds, man. Like, to me, it seems like one of these guys is going to go to sleep. And if I could get, double my money on one of those guys, I'll take the risk there. I mean, Mike Rodriguez has burned me before. I really just haven't seen much out of him that inspires much confidence. So tentatively on Marcin here, probably an under. It's probably going to be 1.5, but I'll probably take it because if you look at all of Marcin's last fight, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 3, round 1, and then you go back to Rodriguez, it's more the same, a lot of round 1 finishes. So whether he's getting finished or he's finishing somebody else. So we're on Marcin here, worth like a $50 sprinkle if you're feeling it, but don't be loading up on Mike Rodriguez because I don't think the hype is there. Chris?
I hear you, and dude, I totally hear you. So Marcin and Mike have a 77 and 80% finish rate, respectively. So, boom, someone's getting finished. I know Marcin's average fight time is less than 4 minutes, which is fucking crazy. Like, that's scary. the unders are even worth it there because, yes, both these guys are heavy-handed. But if your average fight time is 4 minutes, what are you going to look like 15 minutes into a fight? You know what I mean? Especially these are two big boys. They're both, I think, 6'4" Though I think that, I know that Rodriguez has like at least a 10-inch reach advantage, which I think is super significant, especially with these guys throwing heavy hands. So I'm going to go Rodriguez in this one. I think the under is definitely worth it, even at 1.5, as Mike said, or Matt said rather, or Mike. I think you both fucking said it. But Mike Rodriguez's average fight time is 9 minutes. So 9 minutes and less than 4 minutes that's the under, ladies and gentlemen. So I do not see this fight going the distance, and I see Mike Rodriguez pulling it out.
I don't know. This fight is kind of shitty in my opinion. I mean, Marcin hasn't fought in like 2 years. His last 2 fights were 2 vicious knockout losses. But like prior to those knockout losses, he was in ONE UFC, man, and he was kicking ass over there. So I don't know. I don't understand the line. I agree, Matt. If you are to take a side, the value is all on Marcin. Rodriguez is just kind of unreliable. I don't know if it was like the flight to Busan or something that made him like look like shit in that fight, but I don't know. I thought he handily should have won that fight. That was just a bad outing. I don't know. I guess I'll pick Mike Rodriguez because he is athletic enough to probably get this done, whether it's inside the distance or not, but I'm not confident at all. And if anything, come Saturday night, if I'm feeling a little bit spicy, I'm definitely putting my money on Marcin. So let's put it that way. OSP. Light underdog, plus 105, I think, going up against Alonzo Menafield, minus 130. Matt.
So the other day, just for fun, me, Chris, and Mike, I ran back through every OSP fight since I think he came into UFC. I was on the right side of 2 of them. And one of them, he was losing to Corey Anderson, and they randomly pulled a head kick knockout out of his ass. And then the other one, I was on the right side of him. I was on the right side of betting against him. So whatever I do, fade it. This fight is just so fucking impossible, man, because one of 2 things are going to happen. Menafield's going to knock him out in the first round, or OSP is going to have some common sense, get Menafield up against the cage like Devin Clark did, and try to wrestle him. I don't know which one's going to happen. If you look at Menafield, just as we talked about in the last fight, you look at his resume, it is a fuck ton of knockouts, but they're all in the first round. I would say like 3 or 4 of them, or let me just say like 3 of them are under a minute. He absolutely can bang. And we've seen OSP get hurt before, but I want to go with OSP just because he is a vet, and I feel like if he has any common sense left, he should know how to go in there and win this fight. It's exactly what I just said. He needs to – wait, is this a heavyweight?
No.
Fucking God.
No.
Dude, wait.
Wait, is this a heavyweight?
He's just so unreliably. Like, I'm not going to hold Ben Rothwell against him because he just looked like he wasn't big enough for that fight. And I obviously going back down to light heavyweight shows that, you know, he was impressive against Olajan Chalk, however you say his name. But before that, Krolov, Reyes. I don't know, man. I'm going to go OSP because if there's one fight on this card, I would bet the first fucking prelim over this. Like, do not bet this fight. If anything, again, the under. I don't know. OSP. I'm not confident. Chris.
I thought for sure you were going to take Menafield. I thought you did earlier in the week. I thought you were going to say Menafield. Now I was going to play devil's advocate and pick OSP because I am going to pick OSP. OSP has, I mean, if it's not a question, he's battle fucking tested. He's fought everyone. He's fought fucking John Jones. I'm going to run through the list here. I don't think I need to, but I will anyway. Just, you know, he fought Bader, Ryan Jimmo, Shogun, Patrick Cummins, Glover Teixeira, Rafael Cavalcante, John Jones, Jimmy Manuwa, Volkan Ozdemir, Yushin Okami, Corey Anderson, Alir Latifi, Dominic Reyes, Krylov, Rothwell, the whole fucking 9. He's fought everybody. It's insane. And then for, you know, poopy Alonzo Menafield just lost to poopy Devin Clark, like gatekeeper Devin fucking Clark. Like, come on, you got wrestled to decision by Devin Clark in a fight you were like minus 400 in. OSP at plus money here. I love it. I mean, Menafield, I saw on his Instagram, he put up a picture. I was like scared just looking at my phone of the shape that guy is in. He's a beast. But one thing I'm going to sprinkle out here for the viewers, I just checked to see if I could get a better line on it. I didn't bet because I'm a fucking loser, but OSP by submission, I was curious to see because he's going to be the bigger guy. He's going to want to take the fight to the floor so he doesn't get knocked out. Unreliable OSP. But submission was plus 300. So, I mean, OSP's like basically even money, maybe plus 105. Him by any form of stoppage, DQ, submission, or TKO was like 2-1, and by submission was 3-1. So a little juicier odds right there. I can definitely see that happening as OSP wins exactly 1/3 of his fights or submission wins. So I can see that. That's definitely an option there where Menafield is not tested on the ground clearly, and Devin Clark just beat him. And I think that OSP is just bigger, can weigh on him more. His last fight was at fucking heavyweight, for Christ's sake. So we'll see how he looks at the weigh-ins, but I'm going to take OSP here and maybe even sprinkle a little bit by submission.
So I actually have a thought. Chris has sparked something in my head. I think this would be a good bet for you guys. I think you should take 2 bets in this fight. Take Menafield by round 1 knockout specifically, and then I would go round 2. And if you want plus round 3 in there, I would do an OSP sub in round 2 and OSP sub in round 3. Because this fight's not going the distance. If it does, I'll go fuck myself. But I think Menafield, if he doesn't win round 1, he's not winning this fight. So I would do, and you would get good odds. You probably get 5-1 on Menafield first round knockout, maybe a little bit less, but still it's better than the odds of just betting him straight up. And then I would do, like I just said, OSP round 2 and 3 sub. You'd probably get 10-1 on both, if not more, on round 3.
What are the chances you bet exactly that?
I'm going to bet all 3.
Classic. All right, I'm going Menafield here. I know you guys almost convinced me, but like my thing is this: like I know we shit on Devin Clark all the time because like how can you not? But he is a credentialed wrestler. He was a junior collegiate wrestler. He's got the whole, he's got the USA Wrestling tattoo on his leg, and he only managed to get Menafield down, I think, like twice out of like 11 attempts. So like I'll give him Menafield the credit there. He blew his load in the first round. He never really goes past the first round. So this last fight is going to pay dividends into his experience level a lot. I think he realized like, wow, I can't do that in the first round again. Even if I know that he's hurt, I can't go for the finish like that. I got to pick my shots. And listen, like obviously he was gassed in round 2 and 3, but like he knew in the third round he was trying to finish the fight, and I'll give him that, even though it was like a very sloppy and very low level. But I think that he's athletic enough and strong enough, and OSP sometimes does nothing in his fights, man. When he fought Ben Rothwell, I know Ben Rothwell didn't do much either, but OSP did nothing in that fight. And then he just lulls you into like this rhythm sometimes, but he doesn't ever really pull the trigger sometimes. And I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a lot harder than people think to get Alonzo Menafield to the ground unless he's super gassed. So in this first round, I agree. I think Menafield, if he wins, it should be by knockout. But if Menafield can kind of, pick his shots, be smart, don't blow your load, I could see him winning decision. I could see it, and I could see him knocking him out too. And then if he gets another Von Prue choke, I'm gonna fucking shit myself because that'll be 4. But I'm just gonna go play devil's advocate here. I'm taking Menafield. I think the line is pretty accurate. I definitely think there's value on both sides to a certain degree. So I'm excited to see this fight. I actually am, considering it shouldn't be the co-main event, but I'm excited for it.
So real quick, Mike, the thing is OSP can get blasted and go right out. He's always good for that. So
right. And then OSP, sometimes he just doesn't show up,
That's what I'm saying.
So and he's cutting back to 205, man. He's a big boy, bro. He's big. I'm excited to see the weigh-ins, man, because if OSP looks like wobbly or shitty or something like that, I'm definitely gonna
change my pick immediately. I'll bet Menafield 1, 2, 3. I'll put him knockout. You know what you would get crazy odds on? Honestly, oh fuck. You would get crazy odds.
1, 2, and 3 by
watch you go to decision. Alonzo Menafield, unanimous decision.
That's what I was gonna say. If you get Alonzo Menafield UD, I would say you'd get probably plus like 3,500, because that's how like unlikely I think that is. But we'll see on Saturday.
Actually, let me look real quick because I just had that up because I wanted to see if the plus 300 was still there, but I don't think it is. Let's see. Menafield by decision is plus 2,200. Oh, no, it's submission is plus 20. Only by decision is plus 450.
Yeah, that's about right. I think that's about right. OSP by knockout is plus 850. That's a little bit high, I think. But, hey, what are you going to do?
We don't know shit.
Sorry,
shit. Mike. Let's hear it, baby girl.
All right, baby. We got Pedro Munoz. Huge favorite. Minus 265. I don't think that's right. Going up against Frankie Edgar plus 205. Matt.
I'm on Pedro here, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I love Frankie, I do, but I'm not going to give our listeners something I don't believe in. Pedro can fucking bang on the feet. We've seen it time and time again, and his wrestling's really, really good too. Like, he's an all-around very good fighter. He just went 3 rounds with Aljo. Aljo's about to fight for the belt. Like, and it's Frankie, Father Time's undefeated. As good as he still is technically, like, against a guy like Pedro that hits as hard as he does, has crisp hands, I think Frankie's going to have to take this to the ground, but I don't think that he's going to control Pedro on the ground. Pedro's not going to get put on his back and just stay there. I don't know. I'm going Pedro, but I hate to say it because I love Frankie. Pedro's got 81% takedown defense. He occasionally mixes in takedowns of his own. Very well-rounded fighter, but so is Frankie. And as our boy Phil had mentioned, Frankie probably is going to have a speed advantage in there with his hands, but I just think Pedro hits a lot harder, and I think his counters are going to be a lot sharper. And I think he's definitely more of a boxer as opposed to Frankie's more like a wrestle boxer. He works in his boxing to get to the takedown or get to the clinch, get up against the cage, and I think Pedro's just going to be wise to it. A couple years ago, I'm probably taking Frankie 10 times out of 10, but right now, I'm going Pedro. Chris?
So I'm obviously going to pick Frankie Edgar purely as a fucking fan. I'm not going to pick against him, even though, I mean, the line's minus 260, guys. Like, Vegas knows what's up. I don't know. Frankie Edgar in a new division, I think it's just I don't want to say too late. It's never too late, but like now is not when I want to see Frankie Edgar drop to 135. It almost seems like he's doing it out of desperation rather than I'm going to dive into a new weight class. Like 155, he would literally be the smallest person. Like that when him fighting at 155 is just a day that, that's long gone. Like the welterweights now then fight at 145 now. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different landscape. 145 he's even small for. Mark Henry saying that he's looking amazing in training. Philly was just hyping him up. So, I mean, guys, I'm only going to talk about Frankie Edgar on this one. It's just, it's pure fan in me, obviously, picking Frankie Edgar. I'm rooting my ass off for him, so I'm not going to pick against him on the podcast. I'm not going to bet on this fight because my heart's be beating fast fucking enough. Pedro Munhoz, yes, he's a boxer. One thing I wanted to touch on is a lot of people have recency bias with the Cody Garbrandt knockout. I know before that he was coming off a knockout of Caraway, I believe it was, and before that he hasn't had a stoppage win by TKO or KO since like 2013 or 2014, and that was when that motherfucker popped for steroids, which I want everyone to fucking know. People love to fucking forget about that. But back in 2014, Pedro popped for steroids, and that was before USADA. So anyway, I'm riding with Frankie Edgar on this one. I think that his best chance to win is by decision. I don't really see him stopping him, but I mean, Frankie Edgar is Mr. Decisions. Like, he can go 5 rounds all fucking day. I want to see how quick he is at 135. This new weight class, maybe it rejuvenates him. What's Frankie plus what? 230-ish?
Yeah,
something like that?
210.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, 2-1 odds on Frankie. I mean, that's crazy getting him at those odds anyway. I mean, yes, I'm totally biased in this one, but he's not getting submitted. I mean, he's fought against some of the best submission artists, Charles Oliveira, for example, just throwing names out there. And yes, he was in a deep guillotine at the end of the second round. I'm not going to say that, but Frankie, he just went 5 rounds with Max Holloway a fucking year ago. So MMA math, I'm just going to say he rides it out, and hopefully Frankie can win a decision here.
I'll be the first to say I don't think this line is accurate. I think it should be a lot closer because there are a few paths to victory for Frankie. I mean, like, if he could get the takedown, I don't see him getting submitted while on top. On the bottom, that's a different story, but I don't see Pedro getting the takedown either. So if Frankie can get the takedowns consistently, he can win this fight via unanimous decision. If he can keep it on the outside, he can pop, work his way to unanimous decision. These are definitely possible avenues. Pedro Munoz is not the best striker, but his leg kicks are lethal. That's a different story, which I really do think that the leg kicks are going to play a huge role in this fight and slowing Frankie Edgar down, man. His leg kicks are fierce. But yeah, he's much slower than Frankie, but he can crack. Not many knockouts, but he hits hard for sure. And he's definitely Frankie's got to watch out for that, man, because, he's been clipped. He's been knocked out a couple of times, another weight cut, another 10 pounds. And, is this like the third fight this third time this fight has been scheduled? So, like, Frankie's been cutting weight for a long time now. I don't know. I know he looks good in training, but, like, that can't be good for your body, man. He looks very, very skinny.
Thin, he does.
Yeah, and then I remember I saw a picture. It's like 10 more pounds to go. This is when it was like scheduled prior, but it was like, 10 more pounds to go. And he already looked very skinny. And another 10 pounds, like, I don't know. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. He might be in the best shape of his life for all I know. So I'm going to pick Pedro Munoz. I don't think the line, there's any value on him whatsoever. I think it's way too wide. But I do see somewhere along the way, man, those leg kicks are going to add up. Frankie's going to come in a little bit closer and get hit with something, or, obviously if Frankie goes for a takedown, the guillotine is always there. He's got a savage guillotine choke. I don't know. I'm picking Pedro, but I don't think the line should be what it is, and I'm excited for this fight, and I just don't want to see Frankie get flatlined again. Let's put it that way.
Because that was always his MO. That Frankie could any shot you fucking threw at him. Gray Maynard got dropped 4 times in the fucking first round, comes back, wins a decision, brings the fight to a draw. But he's been stopped twice in the last 2 years, and the Korean Zombie one kind of stuck with me. So we'll see. I'm obviously rooting for him as a fan. But before we go, boys, Bellator 244, Bader, Nemkov. Just do a quick rundown. Ryan Bader, he's double champ in Bellator right now, doing the damn thing. Matt, step in anytime you want, obviously. Vadim Nemkov.
1 second, Chris. I actually have a question for you.
Yes.
When was the last time Bader fought at 205?
Before the heavyweight tour, it's been a bit. He's dropping back down now. The belt hasn't been defended a little bit. It's been a bit, maybe
I think that's
2 years. It is very big in the storyline. It is very big in the storyline. He's been fighting bigger boys. He's knocking out Fedor. Granted, he's been doing it. Bader all of a sudden is knocking dudes out. So maybe he's on some Mexican supplements over there in Bellator, but who knows? I'm not one to say, because if you look at Nemkov, he's all over those Russian supplements. But that's another story for another day. Nemkov is 11-2. He's got some good wins though. Stopping Liam McGeary, who's Bellator's longtime light heavyweight champion, won a split decision over Phil Davis, but pretty handily. He was, Phil Davis, people thought that he was going to wrestle him to a decision, but quick to forget that Nemkov is like Fedor's prodigy, literally Fedor's prodigy. So maybe he's trying to get this one back for Fedor. I don't know. He's a Sambo expert, Nemkov. He's coming in at, what are the lines looking like right here? I think he's like, Bader's only like minus 150, maybe even smaller right now. I didn't write it down, but it's off the top of my head. And that's the closest the Bader line's been in a while. But Bader, I'm just going to ride with him until the wheels fall off. He's been looking untouchable lately. He's been looking in great shape. He weighed in at 204, and he looked fucking fantastic on the scales. So I'm riding with Bader. Matt, you have anything you want to hop in there at all?
I don't know. Honestly, guys, I don't know much about his opponent, but just from what I've seen from Bader since he's been in Bellator, I've said this to Chris a couple times. I don't think I've said it recently, but I would almost love to see him back in the UFC just to see because he's obviously made some advances since he's been in Bellator. I think he's only gotten better. I'd love to see him back in the UFC one day to test himself, but I'm all over Bader here. I'm definitely going to bet it. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it for me. I don't want to lead anybody wrong because I don't know nearly as much about Bellator as Chris does.
In the co-main event, it's hilarious. We have another Fedor prodigy in Valentin Moldavsky. He is a humongous favorite over Poopy, Big Country Nelson.
For Christ's sake.
I think they have similar opponents at Javier Ayala, and I think he beat Roy. I'm pretty sure he beat Roy Nelson. Linton Vassell, who is humongous, looks like the fucking Incredible Hulk. He was able to beat him too, and very handily. Like I said, another Team Fedor guy in the co-main event. I think they're really trying to push him, so maybe they're trying to do the same with Nemkov. I'm just saying, because Bader will still have the heavyweight belt after this regardless, so we'll see. But obviously, Moldavsky's going to win this fight. I don't even think it's going to be close. Julia Budd is third on the card. Julia Budd is, what are the lines here? I saw it was so ridiculous today. Over Jessie Meal, she is a minus 1,000 favorite. Not much to say there. It's not worth betting at all. Julia Budd was a longtime featherweight champion in Bellator until Cyborg had something to say about it and beat her ass pretty handily in her last fight. So this is her return fight. They're giving her a no-name. They want her to get back on track because of how promotable she's been for the promotion. And there's that. And then last on the card, the main card, I should say, is coming in. The line got even bigger on this. It's John Salter and Andrew Capel. Salter is just a big BJJ guy. His last loss, I think, was to Rafael Lovato Jr., who's the middleweight champion there, or was. I think the belt's up for grabs now because of his injury. But Oliver Salter in this one as well. Big Bellator guy. They love him there. They're trying to promote him there. That's what Bellator does. These cards back as of recently, Bellator's really been trying to push a lot of their main guys. Sergio Pettis being one of them in, one of their last events, Michael Chandler in the last one over Bendo, just really trying to put their guys over. So I see them doing that here. Salter gets the W. And lastly, one big Bellator announcement being that Darian Cola moved up to 145 and Horiguchi got hurt. The 135 belt is up for grabs, and they just announced Juan the Spaniard Archuleta versus Patchy Mix is up for the 135 strap. That's going to be a banger. Juan Archuleta, they're both super quick, good all around. Obviously, Patchy wants to get the fight to the ground, look for submission. Juan Archuleta, super comfortable on the ground, could scrap his ass off, wins Ricky Bandejas, fought the Pitbull brothers, whole nine, going to be a great scrap. Can't wait to see that one too. So that's all the Bellator news I got at the moment.
Oh, man, I just love listening to you talk about Bellator.
I love Bellator, bro.
Dude, that's all. We just finished the show, and I just get to sit back and relax.
I love Bellator, dude. Friday night fights is fucking awesome.
I'm pumped, man. I'm so excited to watch fights tomorrow night because my girlfriend just got manager Lisa just got her tonsils taken out, so she's bedridden for the next couple of days. So I'll just be watching fights, taking care of her, making sure she's got mushy food to eat and shit like that.
That's it, baby.
Like you're gonna chew her food for her and then spit it in her mouth.
She wants me to. I'll ask her later.
Like Ace Ventura. Goes up in the bird's mouth. He's like, he's the goat. Jim Carrey's the goat.
Good
but
shit,
Mike, send us off, bro.
All right, boy. Everyone. We'll be back next week. Another 2 episodes a week next week. We got something special for you on Tuesday. And then obviously Thursday, we'll be back for August 30th's card. So be well. Love you all. Love the sport, baby. And we'll see you next time.
Peace, boys.